It can be really astounding when you look back and realize, wow, I've known these guys for 30 years. My background in music is extensive and yet very limited. I'm the only member of the band who does not play an instrument. It seems that I've always enjoyed singing, even from times I was too young to remember. My mom tells me I could hear a song once and be able to sing it at age 2 or 3. Puff the Magic Dragon was one of those tunes she recalled. What happened to that ability? I wish I had it back. Now, if you ask me what I had for lunch yesterday, you'll probably receive nothing more than a confused look. As to the extensive background, I've always been drawn to music, and it is ordinarily included in most everything I do. If I'm mowing the lawn, I'll have my iPod in a pocket connected to some headphones. I have some sort of music player in every room of my house, including the bathroom, where a Bose Wave music system replaced a clock radio. I always believed athletics would be what I missed the most from junior high and high school. But in retrospect, choir and drama probably topped that list. Having the leads or supporting roles in the plays and musicals, attending choir and band interschool, and competing as a soloist or part of a group like a quartet or a swing choir, those are just very vivid and cherished memories. Many of my career callings have musical elements associated with them, from a long career in radio, which was born from an opportunity as a nightclub DJ, to working in and managing a music store, to the mobile DJ and home-based production studio, which I am still involved with on a daily basis. All have musical elements at their core. Mixing a background track to nicely complement a recorded voiceover or accompany a slideshow or video presentation is something I do all the time. The same goes for transferring and enhancing the audio quality of old reel-to-reel, cassette, and albums customers have brought to me, even some ancient 78 RPM records. Had it not been for current Evanston City Councilman Tim Lynch, this edition of the band Bone may have never come to be. I was a club DJ when the Whirlin reopened after being remodeled. Tim was the general manager and began to book bands to play on Friday and Saturday nights. I would start my shift around 7 p.m., spinning tunes on a pair of marble-top Kenwood turntables to warm up the crowd before the band would begin around 9 p.m. They would play 45-minute sets, and then I would return to the DJ booth to cover the 15-minute breaks. I received the opportunity to sing with a lot of bands, which was really pretty cool. There were 2 bands back in those days of the mid-'80s who became house bands due to their popularity. One was an Evanston-comprised group of musicians known as Zoltan, and the other was Bone. I was always grateful to any band who allowed me to share the stage with them, but in particular to Preston Cookie and Dave Stone, who extended an open invitation to take the stage with them and sing a few, anytime and anywhere. And I really appreciated being invited to join them for more of a full-scale gig. Preston would call me and relay, "Hey, we're playing in Afton this weekend at a club named Coulter's, and Dave is not going to be there, so you can sing all of his songs in addition to the tunes you usually sing with us." I remember being very excited as a fan of both Van Halen and Sammy Hagar for the upcoming album, and was waiting to hear which track would be the first radio release. I remember my pal John Carter debuting Why Can't This Be Love on his Rock 103 morning show. I called him up and asked him if he could replay the song in his last hour, and he explained why he couldn't do it, but suggested I call Eric Johnson during his shift so I could record the song off the radio. Eric obliged, and I let the guys in Bone hear the recording at some point during their Friday night performance at the Whirlin. They loved the tune as much as I did, and we scheduled a rehearsal of sorts on the following Saturday afternoon, and performed that song on Saturday night, one day after its official release. The Whirlin ended up closing, and prior to that, with the oil boom going bust, had ceased having bands on weekends. I moved to Casper to broaden my broadcasting career horizons from 1992 to 1995. So with all of that combined, I lost touch with my musician friends for a period of about 5 years. During that time, I did some singing with a couple of local bands, 2 of which Rob Dunning got started. Mel Orchard invited me to become the lead vocalist for a local band which enjoyed some success playing all around town for events like Crazy Days and in between the races at Wyoming Downs. I recall a particularly memorable performance at the Martin Park Gazebo. I was 5 or 6 years older than Mel, and he had about 5 or 6 years on the other members of Power Drive and the Basement Bandits, the 2 names we went by for a couple of years as a May through September band, before the other members returned to college, or high school as it were. In addition to Mel and me, there were the two Dayton brothers, Mike and Greg, on keyboards and drums respectively, and Pete Prophet on bass guitar. I sang most of the lead vocals, with Mel providing the harmony, and we'd switch for songs where he sang lead in addition to playing rhythm guitar. We had a few guitarists join us intermittently, like Larry Murchison and Rob Dunning, but it was usually the task of Mike Dayton to cover those leads with his keyboards and synthesizers. Looking back, Mike was really a pretty amazing musician, as were Greg and Pete, despite their youthfulness. We got to the point where we could listen to a pair of songs and have them performance ready in one rehearsal. Probably the most memorable highlight for me personally in Power Drive was performing Come Sail Away by Styx for Pete and Greg's senior day, I think, though it could have been Mike's. In Red Devil Gym, just Mike playing a baby grand piano, and me with a microphone in front of the curtain, which dropped at the appropriate time when the rest of the instrumentation kicks in for that song, revealing the rest of the band. The crowd went wild. It was either 1989 and 1990 or 1990 and 1991 for the Power Drive run, though we would get together over the holidays for a number of years afterward to just jam and have some laughs in the basement of Rex and Katie Dayton's home, where we spent many a night learning songs and having a blast. We even recorded a demo in the studio built by members of another, more established Evanston band, Mike Anderson and the Country Drifters. Prior to the Whirlwind days with Bone and Zoltan, I was involved in a couple of bands whom my buddy, the late Reed Aaron, got started, including Easy Money. Another pal and classmate, Randy Hendricks, played bass, and we had a number of musicians cycle through, sometimes going with two drummers, including Robert Vaughn, Anthony Ilardi, and Jack Matson. Performing at the first ever rock night at the old country music emporium known as Billy's is both a memorable highlight and a source of embarrassment. But Reed was determined to make his mark in the field of music and pursued it vigorously for all of his too short life. In the spring of 1979, our senior year, Reed somehow managed to finagle securing a rehearsal spot in the National Guard Armory. The first song I ever sang as a lead vocalist for a rock band was Strutter by Kiss, and the second was China Grove by the Doobie Brothers, both learned in that National Guard Armory practice space. I could fill a book with stories of the exploits of Reed and me, and Randy included in most of them, but a number of them would be almost unbelievable. How we survived and avoided jail time, for the most part, is equally unimaginable. Fast forward to my return to my hometown to become the new executive director of the Evanston Chamber of Commerce in 1995. That's after being in Casper for about 3 years. I wondered about my old friends from Bone, but didn't have any phone numbers or other ways of making contact. I remembered the name of a booking agent the band utilized, Ruth Orr, and was able to contact her. She exclaimed, "Oh, I remember you! And of course they're still together! As a matter of fact, they're playing at a club in Heber City tonight." When I walked through the doors, looked towards the stage, and made eye contact, it was as if no time at all had passed, let alone 5 to 7 years, since I'd last seen the boys in the band. After they finished the song they were playing upon my arrival, they immediately went into my theme song, the Van Halen rendition of Happy Trails, which I had used as a closing song from the Whirlwind DJ booth. The song features a backing chorus vocal chiming bum-ba-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da over and over, and I believe it was Preston's ingenuity to realize how easily Mark Medea could be inserted in lieu of bum-ba-dee-da, and, well, the rest is history. Yes, Bone was still together with that nucleus of lead guitarist Cookie Young, bassist Preston Kofod, and keyboardist Dave Stone. The trio, along with an array of very talented drummers, had managed to stay together for a quarter century, and a run of 25 years is remarkable for a band of any stature. As a Chamber of Commerce executive director and being a member of many event committees, I was able to secure some gigs, with the committee buy-in, to bring my friends back to Evanston to play for an Evanston Car Cruise sock hop and the final Overthrust Chili Cook-Off, while also spreading the word about this talented bunch to various club owners and managers who hired bands from time to time, leading to other E-Town performance dates. After their impressive 25-year run finally came to a close, Cookie and Preston kept the Bone legacy alive, and my open invitation to join them continued. They even played for my wedding reception in August of 2002 under the big tent in historic Depot Square. Shortly thereafter, Preston and Cookie aligned their talents with Lorenzo Tuero, forming the Utah All-Star Band, which enjoyed a successful decade-long history and also included some Evanston performances, namely the Fresh Air Freedom and Fun Festival, staged annually on the 4th of July, and the EHS All Alumni Reunion Weekend. I can't tell you how flattered I am to perform with these very accomplished musicians. I truly believe if we are able to commit to a rehearsal schedule and more clearly define a shared vision, the sky is indeed the limit. There's so much talent and vocal power which just needs to be honed and finely tuned. But glimpses of the potential for where we could go and what we could become have been realized. Shows no signs of slowing down, and that has me truly excited.